Hey guys, here is the second biggest reason why you're not losing the weight that you want. In this video, I will tell you 4 facts that I wish I knew when I first started my weight loss journey. And I will give you 4 tips at the end that I've learned from experimenting on myself as well as training clients. And if you want a better understanding why insulin is so important to this, check out my latest video right up here on what is insulin. So let's get started. What is insulin resistance? So another name for it is metabolic syndrome. Basically, that is a term that doctors use to tell clients that are overweight or obese that they have a metabolism issue. And a lot of the times, it's just usually a lot of insulin resistance. Another thing is it's a response to high insulin over a long period of time. So it's a time-dependent thing. It's not something that happens on the first day. It's something that happens months and years after. Yes, you can become insulin resistant a little bit in the first day, but it doesn't make a big effect until later on. And another thing is insulin resistance is harder to lose once you become insulin resistant, just because it's a very vicious cycle of high insulin, like in the last video, and insulin resistance in here. So when you have high insulin, you create more insulin resistance. When you have more insulin resistance, you create high insulin. So it's just a very vicious cycle that keeps on going and going and going. And the faster it goes, the more weight usually you can gain, or the harder it is to lose weight. Now, why is insulin resistance important, or why does it affect you? So insulin resistance keeps insulin high, and insulin is the main fat storage hormone. So basically, you're in an anabolic state when you want to be in a catabolic state. Anabolic is growing, high insulin. Catabolic is losing weight or low insulin, which makes it very difficult to lose weight because you can be in a catabolic state with your calories, or say you start eating more vegetables and all that, but you're also going to be in an anabolic state when you are insulin resistant because there's insulin outside of your body and keeping it high. Now, how do you develop insulin resistance? Insulin resistance is just like any other resistance. It's when you have too much of something, your body adapts to it and learns to resist it, so it has normal levels on it. So it's high insulin over a long period of time. Just like if you were to take a drink for the first time, 1 or 2 shots, you would feel buzzed. But say you've been doing it for a year now, that 1 or 2 shots isn't going to work anymore, and you need 3, 4, 5, or 6. Then that's your body protecting itself from all that insulin that you normally have, or it's protecting itself from the alcohol that you have been drinking. Now, what happens when you are insulin resistant? So your body produces more insulin because your cell, your receptor, is more resistant to the same amount of insulin that it normally gets. So if one cell helps one glucose cell or one energy cell get into the receptor, now it takes 3 of those insulin cells to get 1 of those in there, and then only 1 can go in. So then 2 stay behind, and then it sends another 3, and then 2 stay behind, and another 3, 2 stay behind, and then say now it takes 5 of them, so now 4 of them stay back, and now you have over 15 of them. And then this happens over time. That's why it's a time-dependent thing, not something that happens overnight, because if only 2 of them stay back for 1 day, that's not a big deal. But say if this is over 6 months to a year to 5 years, that's when you start getting into that very, very fast and hard cycle to get out of. And that's what causes weight gain to happen year after year after year, even if you've tried dieting, you've tried exercising. The reason is just because insulin resistance is always in an anabolic state, so you're always growing. Now, here are 4 tips that I said I would help you in the beginning, and the first one will help the first day that you do it, so don't be discouraged. And that is fasting. Fasting 12 to 36 hours has been shown to lower insulin resistance as well as insulin. It's one of the only things that I've ever seen to lower insulin resistance and both at the same time, but you can do more research on that as well. Now, if you're new to fasting, I don't suggest doing the bigger numbers. I suggest doing the smaller numbers. Just go 1 to 2 hours more than you're used to in your daily schedule, and do it whenever you can. So it's not something you have to do every day. Just do it whenever you can. So if that's 3 times a week, 5 times a week, 7 times a week, or 1 time a week. Whenever you fast, it will help that cycle slow down. Number 2 is when you're not fasting, try to only eat 2 to 3 meals a day. Again, just because we want to keep that insulin low, we want to help out that fasting. So if you're only eating 2 to 3 meals a day, you have longer periods of fast usually. And number 3 is eat a whole food diet 90% of the time. I know I said the last 2 in the last video if you watched it, but they're super, super important for that reason. If you maintain low insulin, you will help your insulin resistance from the fasting. And number 4 is, again, it will take time. When you're in this vicious cycle of high insulin resistance, that thing is probably going pretty quick if you've been doing it for a long time. So we got to first get it to slow down, and then eventually we'll get it to reverse, and now you'll start becoming insulin sensitive. And that's where you've seen people that can eat whatever they want and not gain a pound versus somebody who looks at weight and then gains a pound. We want to obviously be like in the middle, closer to insulin sensitivity, but we obviously don't want to be that far away. You can if you want. Obviously, you have to do is just fast more and more, and you'll start getting that cycle to go back there. But I hope this helps you. If this seems to help anybody that you know, make sure to share the information. If you're looking for a great at-home workout, make sure to check out my playlist. A few of them you'll probably like. And I hope you have a good day and see you next Wednesday. All right, bye.